Make it an anthem. Land of Guyana, of rivers and plains. I'm a real Guyanese. From the time when I step on the scene to the moment me leave. I'm a real Guyanese. From the red to the black to the gold to the white to the green. I'm a real Guyanese. And nothing can change me. So nothing can change me. I'm a real Guyanese. I live in a foreign country. So nothing can change me. 6 races, beautiful faces. Put your hand them in the air if you're not racist. I pledge myself to honor always. I will never disgrace this. Them want peace, how we mop. Wait your mothers, we not give you that. No, not one caress. Not a blade of grass. Listen up, 83,000 square miles. Oh my God, we find aisle. Me not tell you no lie. Guyana nice, but me swear for my life. Land of many waters, bring out all the leaders in the son them and the daughters. If you want to be far, no, not at all. I'm a real Guyanese. From the time when I step on the scene to the moment me leave. I'm a real Guyanese. From the red to the black to the gold to the white to the green. I'm a real Guyanese. And nothing can change me. So nothing can change me. I'm a real Guyanese. I live in a foreign country. So nothing can change me. We got stop broke. Allow it tough crook. It now is pretty so nobody try act shook. God big up GRM, me know I'm a tax look. And when me have the money, me can go for my bank book. Beautiful Guyana, we there in South America. Land of kite, the flora and the fauna. Independent people, so we doing what we wanna. Never violate because you could become a Ghana. Them love we country, all the foreigners, them children salute you. In the Indian temple, long we border, we no want no problem. Never fall, we forever standing. Me love how God make you, would never forsake you. Unique in every way, God I never mistake you. If Guyana was a girl, we surely would date you. That's why them want take you. I'm a real Guyanese. From the time when I step on the scene to the moment me leave. I'm a real Guyanese. From the red to the black to the gold to the white to the green. I'm a real Guyanese. And nothing can change me. So nothing can change me. I'm a real Guyanese. I live in a foreign country. So nothing can change me.
Da da da, A-O-M-A.
And call you guys.
A country with an island vibe. I swear Guyana nice. And yeah, we just down all night. Mixing the 5-year Kabisa with eyes. So Tony got the whole place hype. And we celebrating life. Coffee in the morning, so we toast it. Say we just fine aisle, but emotion. No, we ain't motive. No. Oh no. Oh.
This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil to one Guyana. I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home.
أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. رب أسألك خير ما في هذا اليوم وخير ما بعده، وأعوذ بك من شر ما في هذا اليوم وشر ما بعده. رب أعوذ بك من الكسل وسوء الكبر. رب أعوذ بك من عذاب في النار وعذاب في القبر.
Heavenly Father, as I rise to greet a new day, I humbly come before you with a grateful heart. Thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to experience this day. I surrender my plans and desires to your divine will. Guide me in every step I take, that I may walk in alignment with your purpose for my life. Grant me wisdom, strength, and clarity as I navigate the challenges and blessings that lie ahead. Fill me with your love, grace, and compassion, that I may be a source of light and encouragement to those I encounter. May this day be filled with your presence, and may I reflect your goodness in all that I do. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Good morning to each and everyone that are tuning in. This is by Cordell always. Cordell. All right, guys. Good morning to you once again on the final episode of the week of the rap. And I must say we really had a nice time during the week. Yesterday, however, Cordell got missing, but he was found. I don't know. He was found. The only thing that we find up to now is the SOPs that Norton has, but we find back Cordell. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I can't see everyone here because I'm streaming from my phone. Cordell is controlling from his end, but good morning to each and everyone. I'm only seeing, I think, is Ramnarayan Singh. I'm seeing Ramnarayan Singh. Good morning to you, and good morning to everyone that are tuning in. So, guys, let me, without any further hesitation, take this opportunity to introduce my partner here with you. So, good morning to you, Cordell, and thank you for being here again, brother.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Kevon. Um, I'm here. What's up?
Cordell, you went missing yesterday. Everybody want to know if you were stolen yesterday by I forget is what Sally Jones asked the question. Yes, I can't remember is what she asked, but for some reason they thought you got stolen yesterday.
Mm, Nah, I had some things to take care of, so I was unable to be here yesterday. But we're here this morning, and morning to all the persons tuning in. I see we have some persons from Trinidad and Tobago on, some people from New Jersey, some persons from New York watching. So morning to all you guys out there. Thank you guys for tuning in as normal. And last show for the week, my last episode for the week, and it's been a good week. A lot of information. Um, coming out and a lot of clarity being given on a lot of issues this week. So hopefully, a lot of the fear mongering and the division that is being sowed in certain quarters of Guyana by certain political and civil society groups, those will dissipate um, as the weekend comes and the new week begins next week.
So, Cordell, one of the things that we observe time and time as the program goes on, we have a lot more viewers, more persons coming on board, and so on, which sends a message that we hear we speaks of positivity. We can get political sometimes, or most of the times, but then more so in the same sentiment, we also highlight um, all that is happening around Guyana, in and out of Guyana as well. This program more so is only to deal with um, our country's affairs, whether it's political, whether it's economical, whatever. All right. And
Yeah.
I guess persons, for some reason, is finding the program more and more interesting. Also, Corda, one of the things we need to let persons know as we go along, we are expanding. We are expanding. More so, we want to leave the slot open for persons who might want to come on board in terms of advertisements and so on. Reach out to us once it is appropriate for the program. We will definitely, be open to share with you. Right. Another thing, Cordell, I want to say is that a few persons reach out to me directly in terms of making donations towards the program. um, I specifically I specifically questioned them, what is the purpose of the donation and not the amount. I was interested in the purpose, because I don't want persons to feel that we are here or this program are here to solicit funds from anybody. We don't do that. We've never come here to ask, persons to make any donations or anything. However, through the program, we have our impact team, which Cordell, you will discuss our forest project more in details later down in the show. We have our impact team, which will be doing a lot of work on the ground, self-help work, reaching out to help people in various communities and so on. And if persons feel the need to be on board, then we don't see the reason why we should turn it down. But we're not gonna come here anytime to tell person, oh, anything $1, $2, like we buy in the Rusty Bell ring, right? We
Tim
don't do
Tim.
that. We don't do that. We try as much to balance ourselves off our own feet. It's a challenge. That's what we have to let person know, it's a challenge. But however, everybody have challenges in life, and we gonna make it through, right? So we that's one of the thing we have to make very clear to persons, that we're not at no time gonna come here to tell anybody, oh, please donate this to the program. We have internet bills, we have, and no, we're not gonna do that. Right? We're not gonna do that, right? So, but still again, if person feel the need to come on board, we are willing, to link with persons as well. And again, we must let them know we leave the slot open for persons who might want to do ads, who might want to run some short program and so on. Yes, we can do that for you. Right? So over to you, Cordell.
Right. So a couple of things we got to deal with this morning. First of all, I want to say good morning to forces in Region 7 again, Miss Diana and Tracy Martindale, Miss Tiziana Narain, Mr. and Mrs. Jacobs, Delroy and Beverly Jacobs. I'd like to say good morning to Mayor elect Anthony Murray and his family, also Office of the Prime Minister Representative Mr. Ward and his family, and all the other people out there in Bartica. Um, I keep reminding you, Kevon, they were very welcoming, very hospitable, wonderful people up there. So anybody tuning in, whenever you get some time, you go and spend some time in Bartica. Lovely place, lovely place. right? Now, as we get down to business, um, Vice President Dr. Barjaju had his press conference yesterday, and during that press conference, he touched on a lot of things. He expressed his commitment to keeping his weekly press conference. Last week, as persons would know, the president would have had a press conference on Thursday, so the vice president would not have had his normal weekly press conference. And he said he got a lot of calls. I got several calls as well from persons wanting to know, well, what was going on in relation to that. Persons usually look forward to that information from the vice president in relation to debunking some of the foolishness that is put out there by the opposition, right? So he touched on making sure that he will ensure that he keeps that press conference weekly or to the best of his ability. He also was clarifying false rumors about an Inter-American Development Bank grant for home improvement. He highlighted the importance of the low carbon development strategy and again debunked rumors being spread by certain NGOs about the funds. And he also mentioned Guyana's responsible debt management practices and low debt to GDP ratio compared to other countries. And I think that is very significant. And the fact that the opposition overlooks this, it says a lot about them. He also took some time to refute allegations that Guyana is involved in some sort of loan with Qatar for $350 million, which is nothing of the sort. And he also touched on a few other things that we'll go through as the program progresses. But I first wanted to jump to Lane Avenue and um, that's that's claim that the opposition is making that the funds that have been set aside. I think the vice president said it was about $50 million for home improvements in that area is a Inter-American Development Bank program. Now, Kevin, in the tenure of the coalition government, they have never at any point in time put forward an idea to increase, to better, to advance, to enhance the lives of persons in Lane Avenue, persons in Sophia, persons in All Boys Town, East Penitence, persons in Beirut, persons in Linden, persons in New Amsterdam, Latem. They have not put any kind of program or system in place for those persons to actually benefit from government initiatives other than buses, bicycles, bags, and boats. Most of the boats aren't good anymore. The bags didn't last more than a term. The bicycles, I mean, if I was a parent, I'd prefer to take my child to school, even if I got to jump in a bus with them. And I'm sending my child to school, especially primary school, on a bicycle by itself down the road. You understand me? And the buses, we knew that those were a bunch of old buses that didn't work properly. And in some cases, the buses were very selective in who they were picking up. Now, when you compare this bees initiative, you understand, and I would call it the bull initiative, beer bull bees. That is what it was. When you compare
Correct.
that to something,
Don't forget the bangles and the bed sheets, though.
it's bees all around, beer bull. You understand? Bees all around. Now, I'd like to contrast that to the Because You Care program, a holistic program that 200 plus thousand um, students in public and private school are benefiting from. Now, bags are selectively given to communities. The buses are available in certain communities. The boats was, picking up at certain points on the river alone. Unlike that, you have a holistic thing where everybody's benefiting. So sometimes I wonder how these persons have the gumption to even mention some of the stuff that they mentioned. No, like I said, they put forward no initiative to enhance these communities, like the boulevard that you see here in All Boys Town, like the initiative that the vice president initiated in Lane Avenue, for those residents in that area, and will be um, there will be committees formed by residents of that area to deal with how the enhancement program or process goes. You understand? Nothing of the sort. And they want to jump now to tell people, hey, this is not the government working for you. This is some international agency, the IDB, that um, making these funds available to Guyanese. When it's prudent and proper management by the government, this PVPC government, which they are interested in advancing the lives of Guyanese, this whether those Guyanese voted for the PVP or not. So we see up to now, um, LG elections have passed. We know how that area would have voted, but we see persons still working in that area. Tracy Richards, still in the community doing not a counselor, but working with the community to advance development and aspects of development in that community. The vice president holding an outreach in that area with Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton and the head of the Gold Program, Professor Obadei, to ensure those persons there who might have school, might not have a skill, they have an opportunity to upgrade themselves and be involved in something. So we see that clearly the PVP is not interested in how the area voted, but advancing persons in that area and ensuring that they can upgrade and upskill themselves and remain relevant in Guyana's oil and gas sector, right? So I was happy that he was able to come on yesterday and clear up this misinformation that is being spread by the opposition. Dr. Jagdi also discussed the importance of the low carbon development strategy and again debunked rumors that the funds received by communities were from NGOs, right? These funds were from prudent planning and management by the PPC administration under the LCDS. That program was developed by Guyanese. So why would the opposition now, in their effort to make the PPP look bad, um, push aside this work done by Guyanese, right? To be able to have our carbon credits certified and have the ability to sell them. Look at the communities that benefited, Kevon. Look at the communities that benefited from these LCDS funds to advance their areas, far-flung communities. I think all the indigenous communities have gotten money, and I think two or three who weren't regularized, they would have also gotten something as well. And that shows you the difference of thinking. The PPPC government has shown its interest in advancing the lives of Afro-Guyanese, Amerindians, the Chinese, the Portuguese, the Douglas, everybody, the Indians, everybody. Everybody is benefiting in some way, shape, or form. I spoke earlier in the week of the fact that there are more Afro-Guyanese contractors now in the system than 2015. And we hear often, Kevin, of these persons claiming that they're the keepers of the Afro-Guyanese gate. They're in charge of Afro-Guyanese. They represent Afro-Guyanese. So where were the initiatives for Afro-Guyanese? We see in certain cases the vice president previously talking about Ipadagy and how they disburse funds. You understand? The amount of projects that they would have had for the year and the amount of money they would have gotten. Where is the money going? These persons who care so much about Afro-Guyanese. And this brings me back to the young lady yesterday. Yesterday, or the young lady, Miss Fredericks, who released the video when she spoke about Annette and Simona and Hastings and all these people who don't really look out for the rights of indigenous Guyanese. Now, all of a sudden, they're the champions of indigenous Guyanese and Afro Guyanese. So, what they trying to say? They don't care about Indo Guyanese or Portuguese or the Chinese Guyanese who live here. You understand? So, I mean, Kevin, sometimes I wonder what type of politics these people are playing and how they see it um, benefiting them in the long run. Before I let you jump in here, I wanted to touch on one more thing the Vice President spoke of, and this was in relation to um, um, he addressed the issue of the country's debt, explaining that Guyana's debt to GDP ratio has significantly decreased over the years, making it one of the lowest in the world. And he defended the PPPC government's debt management and emphasized their responsible borrowing practices. You understand? Now, Kevon, I wanted to mention this because there was a time when Guyana was paying back. I think it was over 90% of its GDP in debt. You understand? And he mentioned some reports that persons can go and check to see that this is factual. We're far from there. We're far from there. And I think persons need to understand this is not just happened on a whim and a fancy. It is prudent management by competent persons in relation to moving Guyana forward. You know?
So Cordell, one of the thing I really want to say I really appreciated about the vice president is that when he come with the facts, and he outlined, and he always he be specific on the issues. I can remember the visit to Lane Avenue. I think I mentioned this before. I'm not sure. When certain questions were asked to him, and persons were asking about these grants and these loans and these things, you know he was very clear to them. He said, look, I'm here. I will not make any promises to you, but what we can do on the government's behalf, we will do. You understand? So
Right.
um I we have to be very thankful for Vice President Barjaglio, our General Secretary of the party, of the People's Progressive Party, Civic as well, because I believe he's doing a tremendous job, which he's been always doing for a very long time for this country, and not leaving out our hardworking ministers, our President and Prime Minister as well, right, with their support, because this is, I can say um, from what I've seen in my time of getting into politics. Yes, Vice President, then President Barjaglio, did a lot for Guyana, putting Guyana on the right foot along with President Jagan, continues the vision of President Jagan. And now that even more where we have the resources, and now we even have, we can say we are now an oil rich country, um, that even makes Guyana, or put us on the map where we are now recognized around the world. But we could not be recognized around the world because we have oil, all right? But it's the management. The management is what is important, and the
Yeah.
world can see. Some persons reach out to me and they said like, "Oh, the president, the government is giving out these school grants, and so we don't see this happen in America. We don't see this happen in Canada, you know." And people, imagine people that lives in countries where Guyanese, I know some Guyanese are dying to go there. Feels like, oh shucks, I want to come home because there's so much that the our government are giving in the
Mm,
agriculture sector, in the
mm,
education
mm,
sector, in the health
mm,
sector,
mm.
in every sector. And then the one that is even more attractive to other countries is the infrastructural sector of Guyana, which is moving on a rapid pace. Again, I must say kudos to Minister Bishop Juan Ejil, who is doing a tremendous job within his ministry. I am praying and hoping that coming 2025, I'm hoping to see Minister Ejil return in that same ministry, because if we can give Minister Ejil a 10 years in that office, and I say 10 years, Corder, because I am 100% confident, just as the Vice President said yesterday. He said, I will see President Ali will return as our president, our
Yeah.
presidential candidate in 2025, and we will win the election. Right? So I'm confident about that. I'm a million percent confident about that. And I would want to see Bishop Juan Edgel, Minister Edgel, matter of fact, return in that ministry, because if we can give the minister the entire government, for a matter of fact, I believe that the entire government so far have fulfilled its manifesto promises more than 90%, Cordell, and we
Mm-hmm.
haven't reached 4 years as yet, right? And I always recall something that Minister Priya Manik Chan would have said. Um, I think it was an interview. Somebody was asking, so Minister, what happened after what happens after we get the 50,000 grant? Would it continue to grow? And she said to them, she said, look, the 50,000 might even be before 2025, right? So
Yeah.
she said this with that confidence that everything that the government has put out there, it's not something permanent to say that it is written in stone and will remain there, but it will increase, it will grow, because as our economy grow, our children grow, their future is brighter and their future is growing as well. And
Yeah.
that is why we as Guyanese, Cordell, we as a people, this is not about politics anymore. As much as people say, oh, it's political, it's not about politics. What is important is putting our future first, right? Um, we have to ensure that we secure a government that secure us as a people, right? And we are seeing this is a government for the people. This government, I don't care who on the other side would want to get upset and come after me or come after us about this, but I believe this government is doing at least, I believe, that 80% of Guyana's population is benefiting right now. The other 20% is those on the negative side, those are very few, who say, oh, I don't want to take this, I don't want anything from the government, and this, they have a very
Mm.
few of them who is within that high level of stupidity, right? I
Yeah.
understand that's on the other side. But 80% of Guyana's population right now are benefiting, and more so especially within the Amerindian communities. Like you said yesterday, the young lady, when she released the video, one of the things that stood out for me, Cordell, is when she said that these so-called people in the opposition who claims to represent Amerindian people in Guyana have never represented us. 90% of the time, she made that very clear, right? And that we can listen to that young lady is a positive young lady. She knows herself, she understands, and she speaks that she speaks facts there, and that stood out for me as well, and it is a fact. So I don't know, I guess you can recall, Cordell, when I made a video during the whole scene of that, what is going on, and I said to them, I said, y'all need to stop playing the games as though you are care for Amerindian people or indigenous people, because you don't care. You're there for political scores, political mileage and gains, but have no interest in the Amerindian people. And here we have Miss Anicia Frederick yesterday would have reinforced that by saying they never represent Amerindian people. And we know that for a matter of fact. So we are seeing the government now, we are seeing this government now working in the best interest of all Guyanese. And that is why I keep saying that we have a bright future ahead once we have a People's Progressive Party civic government. And we have to do everything within our power to ensure that this government is re-elected from 2025.
Yeah, so the vice president also touched on this rumor that is being spread by the opposition about a 350 million loan from Qatar, and he had to clarify the country's financial situation. And I think this is misinformation being spread from the opposition based on the president's visit to Qatar and the information that was made available that this line of credit would be available for Guyana to access. But he clarified that Guyana has not in any way, shape, or form accessed that money or is indebted to Qatar in any way at this time. He also spoke of opposition MPs spreading rumors and misinformation, and he highlighted the fact that there seems to be a lacking of understanding about the budgeting process, right? And he clarified that government's borrowing is transparent, is transparently planned and catered for in the budget, and it is invested in productive projects like infrastructure, hospital, energy projects, things that will benefit the country in the future. So gas to shore, um, Demerara River Crossing, the new bridge at Linden, the Linden Lethem Road, the synthetic track in Linden, the highway bypass there from East Coast to East Bank, completing the airport project. What else is going on? The hospitals that are being built out in the region, the new stadium at Palmyra, the shore base at Region 3, the shore base that is going to be in Region 6, um, advancing agricultural sector, diversifying the types of animals that are reared in Guyana. So you see the introduction of the black belly sheep, brackish water shrimp. Um, what else? What else? Aquaculture being introduced into indigenous communities, cage aquaculture being introduced into these indigenous communities, so they have a diverse source of income when it comes to their sustenance. As some persons might or might not know, persons in these far from communities, they usually depend on farming, logging, or if mining is done in that area, some of them engage in that. Um, there are a few jobs available in these communities. However, it is not always the amount to take off the population of the community, right? So it was mentioned that this is the direction the government is going in. The vice president also mentioned David Patterson, uh, and the fact that he was talking about borrowing and procurement practices, right? Mr. Ramjatan as well. These two individuals clearly lack the understanding of budgeting and economic matters, right? And the fact that Mr. Patterson, MP Patterson, could even talk about procurement is a crying shame. There have been instances documented where this gentleman here has violated the procurement laws, right? And allegations that he would have bypassed procurement systems for his personal benefit. The consultation, the feasibility study that he would have had done for a 3-lane harbor bridge, right? A 3-lane harbor bridge. The cabinet didn't authorize this. This is on his own. We see Patterson collect money from Harbor Bridge to go China. I'm not sure if he paid it back as yet. Probably did. I'm not sure. But there's usually paybacks that don't get in trouble when they get caught. So those allegations were made as well. I think those are that information is back. Um, I I like to say alleged because I'm trying to dodge the liable, but based on news reports, this actually happened. I'm thinking this cannot be refuted. The money that he took from Harvard Bishop on some trip to some conference or seminar or something. What about the scales? The scales that were ordered from the company who did work for the PNC for the election that I don't think we get yet. So persons like David Patterson just jump up and talk stuff, and I wonder if they think I need have short-term memory loss. We don't. We remember you, son. We remember the bangle, the bracelet that they bought with the government money. I think it's almost $1 million, right? You understand? On his hand. And then claiming you don't wear jewelry when people see you about the place with the big bracelet on your hand, boss. You understand? So, Kevon, sometimes I wonder how these persons could even speak about some of the things they like to put forward in the media. Right? I was talking about the oil and gas sector earlier, and the fact that the vice president highlighted that the sector is being managed prudent, right? Now, regarding the sector's management, the vice president defended the clear framework in place and addressed criticism about the Petroleum Commission. Now, Glenn Lawless, the VP, likes to talk about Guyana and oil and all this other stuff, right? And he's going down the line of saying that um, we have all this oil money and the government is spending while the vice president yesterday emphasized that government debt management has improved significantly, right? I spoke earlier about the debt to GDP ratio being one of the lowest in the world. He also highlighted the responsible use of oil revenue. These oil revenues account for less than one third of the total budget. So they like to talk about Dutch disease and what can happen and what can happen when clearly the government's budget is not completely dependent on oil. The other sectors are contributing, and coupled with um what's the right term to use? Coupled with proper borrowing or proper thinking in relation to borrowing funds to advance Guyana's infrastructure, whatever they're looking to advance, right? So specifically, 27% of the budget is financed by oil revenue, and the rest of it by non-oil revenue for nearly twice as much as the oil revenue, right? The non-oil sectors. They contribute twice as much as the oil and gas sector. So, Kevon, I don't know if that's not prudent management. He also clarified that government had put in place a management framework for the oil sector and took some time to mention the various measures. These would include the Natural Resources Fund Amendment, the Local Content Laws, the Petroleum Activities Bill, and even strengthening of the Environmental Protection Agency permits, and also the commitment to establish a petroleum commission in the future. So I don't know why persons in the opposition tend to want to put it out there that the government is not interested in prudent management of the sector, the wasting the money. Kevon, these persons had a period to show us what they would have done with the sector, with all other sectors. And I'm coming to housing as well, because they spoke about Afro-Guyanese being left out of housing, which I think is utter nonsense. That sounds like a Mel statement. Afro-Guyanese being left out of housing. So whoever said that, y'all need to back up yourself, right? So Kevon, we know now, and not now, he's been saying it over and over again at these press conferences, um, highlighting what government is doing to ensure that we don't fall into the Dutch disease situation, highlighting the efforts government is making to ensure that the traditional sectors are still functioning and at a capacity to have a positive impact on Guyana's development and the prudent management of Guyanese funds. So, I don't see the reason for the opposition to take some of the positions they take in relation to misleading Guyanese on what is really happening in the country.
That's true. One of the thing I heard him mention to yesterday, Cordell. One of the thing I heard the vice president mention yesterday, which was kind of strange to me, and he pressed on it, is a former minister of natural resources, Rafael Trotman, wanted to come on board to assist the government. Now imagine this is the man that made a mess of the oil contract. He's the man that signed the agreement, made a mess of it, and now he wanted to come on board and assist. And the vice president, personally, he said he would even consider it. He said Mr. Trotman has zero integrity. I can tell you there was another issue that I know personally. Well, I would focus more on the indigenous communities. The Morudi Mountain issue in Region 9, South Rupununi. That is another place that Mr. Troutman made a mess of. It is allegedly said by the indigenous people in the South Rupununi is there. The mess that he would have made in there. Now these are the persons who who are trying to hold the government accountable for oil contracts and all these mining leases and these issues, trying to hold the government accountable when they are the one who created the monsters. Now the government has to find a way to see how they can have these things ratified, right? Um, one of the thing also we see the highest level of hypocrisy by Glenn Lal now wanted to team up with the same Raphael Stratman that he cussed down literally about making bad deals again and all these things. So Glenn Lal now wanted to team up with Raphael Stratman to do what? Right? These people have to understand they have to remain where they are, Cordell. Um, I can say that the government so far have been trying very hard to have all these loopholes filled. You understand? Trying to cover, trying to find a way how we can cover these holes and start a fresh surface for development again. So these people, I guess probably they're seeing the pace that we are going to, and they want to come on board. But also, I believe they also have a devious plan, right? So I think it is the wisest thing to do. It is a wiser decision by the vice president and the government to not have these people any part of any major decisions have to make again, and not even the opposition. Well, we know the opposition should play a part, but we know their plans already. So I would even now at this point, they're always saying that the government is leaving out the opposition, but
Hmm.
the world can see now. Before the government tried to work inclusively with them, but they didn't want it to because the skipping the walking out to parliament, um the opposition leader not wanting to shake hands with the president and all
But
these
not even did not shake hands, not even show up for meetings on time
exactly,
and operate in
right?
a sensible manner.
so
Sleeping in
so
the people meeting.
exactly. So now that they are seeing that the world is recognized around the world. I don't think it's something genuine that they wanted to come on board. A few of those who considering coming on board to reinforce the cause for development of Ghana. I don't think it's anything genuine. I just think it's a plan to to undermine the government and to stymie progress because that's what all about. So again, I would like to say thank God for somebody like our vice president who is holding his ground and keeping the country steadfast along with the president. um, One thing I must mention as well to Cordell, I can't forget that. Um, like I said, all our ministers they are doing a wonderful job. A wonderful job. There's no ministry that I could look at to say, oh, this minister need more backup or every one of them, but I must highlight Minister Zoltukar Mustafa as well, who is also doing a tremendous job in maintaining Guyana food security, which is a vision by the president and the government.
Yeah.
Minister Zoltukar is doing a tremendous job in the agriculture sector around Guyana, around Guyana. Every time
Yeah.
you try to
Yeah.
meet, every time I call a minister. He's like, "Oh, I'm in quarantine. I'm in region 2. I'm in region 7." The ministers are all over the place, and I must say to you, Minister Zulfikar, kudos to you as well. You're doing a tremendous job in the agriculture sector.
Kevin, I'm sorry. I don't want you to think I was laughing at what you were saying. But sometimes when I click over to the comments, champ, these people don't play. So they got a guy here watching from YouTube. So look. So you guys like, who's these two clowns, right? So I said, man, let me ignore that. What? Here's 1%. Rock, them is your wife outside men. Bro, look, look. Hey, it's
No,
got
no,
love social media.
I'm even trying to understand the comments. Look, Cordell, I tell you, for the past couple of days, the past 3 or 4 days, I've seen numerous of fake accounts come in and attack my post, attack me, attack my family, so on. And I'm
So,
just laughing at these things, you know.
no,
I'm
no,
just
I
laughing
remember
at
you
these
sent me something yesterday, Nigel London calling me about a donkey on a
Yeah.
post.
No, no, sir. You have to take a rightful position. You are number two donkey, and I'm
Oh,
number
number
one.
two, you're number
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I'm number one. Donkey number one. Donkey two. Just imagine. The thing of
The
it,
bishop
you
to the
can't even.
pastor,
The
the
thing of
man of
it,
God.
you can't even describe Nigel London because the man didn't even resemble nothing on earth. That's the first thing if you want to describe him.
But that's
So
a saying. He don't look
you
like
know,
nothing. A rotten piece of wood, a bus of boots front, nothing. What Nigel resemble? The calling people donkey. You understand? And imagine, instead of Nigel, who claims that he can properly articulate himself, because I think he thinks he got more knowledge than anybody in this country. But he always knows best, right? Now, Nigel London, if somebody is to come to you and tell you how to manage your household or what is going on in your household, I would like to see a reaction because you are a guy who likes to claim you got certain standards and you do things a certain way. I'm pretty sure they got a lot of people that might disagree with how you raise your children. They might even call the way you handle your children or the way you might treat them abusive, in their opinion. You understand? So, my view or Kevin's view on a particular matter, whilst it might not um, resonate with you or you might not agree with it, that's your business, sir. That is your business. That is your business. So if you want to represent whatever issues you want, represent that, fine. I only call you out because I think you're a liar pastor. Liar is a word? You're a lying pastor, right?
an apostle. He said he's not a pastor. He's an apostle.
You're a lying apostle, sir, Mr. London. I ain't gonna call you Apostle London because
Cordell,
they
the
ain't worried
other
Bible
day,
school thing.
they got a little place not too far from my home, just across the lake. Apparently, they keep wedding ceremonies and so on. And I know it was Nigel who was hired to, the pastor work the wedding and so on. And I hear this man literally abusing the husband or the. I sit there and listen. I wanted to know who in their right senses, imagine such a sacred event one time in your life, you're gonna hire a madman to preach for you. You understand?
I'm going to look for the thing that you sent me because I wanted to address it.
Nigel,
Um,
Nigel, Nigel have serious mental issues, brother, and a lot of people don't know. That is the reason why he was post back from where he used to live. The same problem that he come here to create is the same problem, the same thing he was doing over there. So the people literally sent him back to Ghana. The same Ghana he discussed down, welcome him home back. But the man is a nuisance to society. And the thing of it, nothing that he said and even himself is of relevance to society because it's just like you out there screaming and shouting and trying to get the attention of the people, right? And people have no time with you. And
no time with you.
sometimes I
11
wanted to
votes,
know further.
Nigel.
Yeah,
All those people
sometimes
that
I
you're
wanted to
representing,
know.
only 11 of them support you, sir, and you don't even know if they come from your household. I wish we could have known who
Some
exactly voted for you. You
sometimes
understand?
I wanted to know even to the people. It's just thinking out loud, right, Cordell? If the people that actually sit to listen to Nigel London and Cleveland Thomas here in Linden, right? I wanted to know if they have the same mentality because if that is so, Linden is in a bad state because the
Kevon.
mentality of these two individuals, right? And to know that they have followers who actually sit down and listen to them, bro, Linden and Linden then is in a bad state if we have people with that thinking mentality.
Nigel in a worse state. So Lyndon seen development. You understand? Lyndon seen development. Nigel in a worse state. You are the champion of the cause of Lindeners. You lying apostle, you. When you went and you said the Chinese people donate the whole ground there. in your life when you said this pavilion, when it's clearly on the plaque, this pavilion, the pavilion, like the lion candidates in Linden that they said they had no pavilion at the synthetic track, right? So you're a lying apostle, and all the people should leave your church so you don't get no collection and you have to go and look for work.
And
That's what you should do.
the
Leave
man is
your
being,
church.
the man is being caught lying on many occasions, Cordell. The man has been caught
Lying.
lying. When the
No,
man lashed the lady dog, the man lashed we comrade PPP Sherry. I like Kalsha because she like the name bad. The man lashed PPP Sherry, lashed the lady, pregnant dog, killed the dog. The people had him on video and he denied it. He denied it. He said he never even touched nobody, dog. You understand?
I'm
So
alleging he's an animal murderer too. I'm making that allegation. He's murdered animals. The apostle. I'm alleging murderer of animals, you. Lying apostle, you.
and
Now,
people
first
say
of all,
that
apostle, in this post you made here, I don't know when it was made. I just got a screenshot. It said 2 minutes ago, but I know it's not 2 minutes ago. First of all, you understand me? Anything that you bringing in Melly Mel in as a man of God, you should get from here. Understand? Get from here. The mere fact that you're involving her, the mere fact that she has been online, you as a man of God. So you gotta pick whether you live in a secular life or you live in a holy life. You in the world or you in the church. Right? And whilst you're bringing persons from the world into the church, you can't align yourself. I think God said don't sit at the table with the ungodly or something. It's something like that. That's how it's go. Somebody tell me in the comments was the scripture. Blessed is the man who won't sit at the table with the ungodly or something like that.
exactly.
Right?
Blessed is the man
So
that walketh
you
not.
mixing with Melly Mel lying apostle. Morning to Mr. Jackman. You mixing with Melly Mel, the lying apostle, you. Huh? That woman who does down Facebook cussing down people and stripping and going on like she hearing good on social media. That's who you're aligning yourself with. You realize the biggest protest you've had, sir, are the protests where you go and join AP and UPNC and tongue. You can't rally a crowd in Linden. People just pass and toot you when they're driving on the road and you in the hot sun. They say El Nino sun. You just say El Nino sun, burning up your bald head instead of you do something in your church, do a little painting, go out and help a less fortunate family in church or something.
We
You
don't
on the
have a
road,
choice, brother.
like God sent you to challenge the PVPC government. Where were you? No, you used to talk about the AP and you too. You used to. You understand? Even then, nobody used to follow your brother. So it's like it's a lost cause. Well,
For them,
what
for them,
it is
as you
you're
as
trying
you
to
raise that
accomplish.
as you raise that also, the man that working in the sentiment of the APNU, it was the same David Granger administration that shut you up. He used to have this program on the TV station, and the same Jeremy Figueroa and the Sharmas and them and David Granger shut him off from the program. He was
Get it
banned,
there,
and
no one there.
he's still banned from the TV station here in Linden. He was banned from there.
Of
You
course,
understand?
you don't want
And
to load Linden up with nonsense.
And
Let them use out your own data.
he wants to talk about the government silencing people, but I don't hear he talk when David Granger, the bunny from the TV station. I never heard him talk
Man,
about that.
listen, I've never seen this apostle do anything of significance. You understand? Other than make himself a comic on his life and speak in a very authoritative manner about, everything that he claims to know about and what should be happening and why it should be happening and how it should be happening and a set of nonsense. You understand? I see somebody tell me he's a rat bat. I don't know. I don't know where to get a I don't know where to get that from. But I guess that's their personal assessment of the gentleman. But I don't. This guy is a joker. He didn't even spell my name right? So sort it out. Sort yourself out, apostle. Sort yourself out. And just like I would tell any other person in relation to this matter that he's commenting on, sir, clearly you lack understanding. Clearly you lack understanding. When the minister resigned, right? He resigned in the interest of the party that he represents and the government that he was elected to serve in, and not to bring any kind of disrepute or anything in relation to the allegations that were put forward by probably your comrades, orchestrated, I should say, by your, most likely by your comrades in the opposition, to discredit the minister or whatever. Now you get a statement from the person who was involved and made the allegations to say, hey, this is what really happened. This is how I feel about the issue. Right? Your people didn't want to put that out. The young lady makes a video to express yourself. Because remember, this is the day of social media. We need no media to put out nothing. On social media, get your information out there. The girl makes a video. That's enough for y'all. Right? If the girl parents, they make the video, they hear the girl get paid. The girl make the video, she lie. What is it? I feel personally, the only thing that would satisfy persons, whether Mr. Dharamlal is innocent, guilty, indifferent, whatever it is that he is arrested. So, first when you thought he was guilty, yes. Now that you know he's not guilty, you heard about what has happened to this young lady in the Child Care and Protection Agency by individuals attached to that agency. And you're totally throwing that in the waste bin. That don't matter. We don't care about that. We care about this here that we hear about. That was never a statement that was posted online that was never signed by that young woman. You have a signed statement by her that say, hey, this stuff that was never true. You understand, Mr. London? So I suggest you review the matter, all the information that is out there. You look at the statements that have been made by the individuals involved, by the agencies involved, and you do another assessment of the situation. If the young lady's parents are okay, if the young lady is okay and are of the view that this is the situation, and you have said to us, Kevon, of the parents not knowing where the young lady was and they couldn't find her and that kind of thing, if they have come forward to say that nothing has happened and this was orchestrated by persons not associated with them and for political purposes, I, as a Guyanese, am allowing those persons who are in charge of themselves, the adults, the parent, and the child who articulated herself well to explain the situation. I'm running with what they say. I'm running with what they say. I'm not going to come into this with any feelings. And Paul, whatever, you have your opinion on it, I have mine. And that's plain and simple. You can keep yours, I am expressing mine here. This is my platform to express my opinion on various matters. So, that's it. I am saying the young lady has said this is the case, right? The parents have not come out to say anything different. So I am of the view that their views are in tandem, and that is sufficient for the eye. I cannot go and tell Bishop London if there's an issue in his home. Well, keyboard, you should sign off. That's all. It would be dunce of you, really dunce of you, to not appreciate what you're hearing and still sit here and listen. So, keyboard, say, you could rake, as Mudwater would say, rake yourself away from here. But anyway, that's my point. So, if there's an issue in Nigel London's home, and persons outside that home feel Nigel London has not dealt with it properly, does that give them the right to involve themselves in the matters of Nigel London's home and his family, how he's running it, once he's not breaking the law? Nigel, answer me. Right? Keyboard, let me know. But thank you for joining us and bringing up the numbers, despite, you're feeling dunce listening to us. I think you're a little dunce on your own, but what are we going to do? That's life. Anyway, Kevin, coming back to the VP's press conference. The Vice President addressed the issue of the assistance to the families affected by the Madia tragedy. And he also criticized the opposition in his term for shedding crocodile tears for the help that the government is giving to these families, and using this strategy this tragedy for political gain, right? He also defended the government's approach in providing assistance to the family, and he reiterated that the Commission of Inquiry will proceed to investigate the incident and everything surrounding that incident. He also touched on I think a reporter asked him about the message we had up here, I think early in the week, where we had forces from the opposition soliciting funds from forces in the city to host some sort of no, that would be the right to the child commission keyboard. So hence me saying you probably done this on your own, right? Um, yeah, right. So moving on. So I was saying, I gotta stop reading these comments. It's threw me off. So he was talking about the message where the businessman would have claimed that he would have handed over 200,000 to for the poorly attended Georgetown rally or whatever they had in relation to their loss at the LGE elections. Um, he also spoke about the concerns he raised about individuals in the opposition allegedly trying to sell city property and initiate private charges against officials. So that's in relation to the current town clerk, and the town clerk would have been Miss Nelson would have been instrumental in once stopping some of these land deals that were going to go through, and also reining in or outgoing mayor in relation to his activities as the outgoing mayor currently. So I guess that has brought her into the spotlight of the opposition. So the attacks are now on her, and I think it's really bad. It's really bad. But he brought some clarity to that, and I think it's important. Stefan, we talking with so long. We overtime, buddy. We overtime. What's this? You understand? Finally, he made sure to mention that the mayor will not, and those persons on the APNU PNC side will not be allowed to process. Um, um, he well, I should say he insisted that the process of granting waivers should be transparent. Um, and he said the councillors on the PVP side will ensure that there is to address any potential corruption at the city markets and things like that. So persons in Georgetown, you can look forward to representation from those councillors on the PVP side on the council, and look forward to them pushing for the council to act in a more professional manner and dealing with things and developing Georgetown, taking up the responsibilities to Georgetown, roads, drainage, garbage collection, um, policing those markets and those other areas that fall under the purview of the city constabulary. I've heard of persons, qualified persons, wanting to apply to the city constabulary, but there's no officer program or anything that they can access to get in. And now I'm talking about persons who would have either come from police, GDF, or any other of these joint services units that are, of that caliber that could bring some leadership, youthful leadership to the city constabulary. I mean, all the officers there are old. You understand? They're approaching retirement. So I would suggest that those councillors also push to have the city constabulary upgrade the officers that are in their remit, have breathe new life into the city constabulary because it's really needed. You understand? It's really needed.
Okay. Well, Cordell, I know we've stepped over a lot. Something I can't forget to mention to Cordell. I saw this girl is the we're not giving her airtime, but we have to highlight her sometimes when you see she come out with these things. Um, Melly Melagade. Yesterday she posted an altered, and I would have did the investigation in it, an altered recording of the young lady. She said allegedly the young lady, and it's an altered recording, Cordell. I've checked it, right? And these are the things people need to pay attention to. She are the one that creating the issue, right? And when now those charges or the lawsuit is filed against her, she run into the US to complain, the US FBI to complain. I am personally going to find a way to assist this young lady, Miss Fredericks, in having an attorney to file a lawsuit against her as well. Right? And
Yeah.
I want to see if she's gonna run to the FBI, right? Because she have the young lady photograph and putting up things about the young lady and all these things, right? She creating the problem. And when the people now take the action, she running to blame the government. So far,
Kevon,
I haven't seen the government file a lawsuit for Melly Mel. Most
Kevon.
all those lawsuits I see there, and she's wanted by the police, is from individuals that she wanna contact. You
So
understand?
listen. In my view, Melly Mel is a female Rickford Borg. You understand? Melly Mel is the female version of Rickford Borg. Offers nothing to Guyana. Claims to be doing so much.
So how could she be a female version of Rickford Borg? Because as far as what I recall, Rickford Borg is anyway.
As
Go on
far as
further.
you recall, Rickford Borg is confused. Rickford Borg is a male, despite whatever catty behavior he might exhibit. Rare. You understand? Despite that, he's male. So she, the real she, Melly Mel,
Uh,
female Rickford Borg, he might be confused, but he's male. But anyway, um, um, two of them bare nonsense. So they in the States, right?
exactly.
Talking one
Exactly.
set of trash. I doubt that they come to vote. I think Rickford was here to vote when the coalition lost the election. So yeah, Rickford, your voting really matters. It can add to nothing. But I really take on Melly Mel. For some reason, I don't get to see her post or anything at all. I think it's because she had made a post calling up Minister Rodriguez's name, and you know how I feel about my minister. So I have to put her to her place because she talking trash and not mentioning the Beirut residents who the minister regularized and other predominantly Afro-Guyanese areas, squatting areas that were regularized. So she was spitting out an opposition narrative, which I did not subscribe to. But Melly Mel, look, I ain't don't touch her she too much until she jump out she boots again. That's about it. You understand? I see Melly Mel cost for like about hour. Melly Mel cost for like for an hour online. Don't worry, Melly Mel. That don't deter me. I can curse too and really well. You gotta see your buying record. I won't do it here if we meet up. You understand? So I agree with Keyboard. Guyana is in a bad place with all this infrastructure development. Guyana is in a bad place with all this assistance small businesses getting. Guyana is in a bad place with the diversification of the agriculture sector. Guyana is in a bad place with the prudent management of the oil and gas sector. Let me put it up so the people could see what I'm talking about. Um, Guyana in a bad place with the advancements in the education sector and the initiatives put forward by the minister and her team over there. Guyana is in a bad place with Minister Prague who looking out for public servants and ensuring that the gold program running smoothly. Right? Guyana in a bad place in relation to what else, Kevin? What else going on? What else going on in make Guyana in such a bad place?
We in a bad place can we get in a brand new 4-lane bridge in Linden Pardon. Plus,
We in a bad place because we got a brand new jet we president and we got more than one helicopter and we got a metal shark now so we can defend with coastal integrity and things. We in a bad place by oh my Jesus, we in a bad place. We got a new prison there at Luziknan. So the people don't be getting away steady and it don't bund down like it bund down under the coalition. Right? We in a bad place. Let me see what we in a bad place because we got a new housing scheme going up in Bartica. So partitions could actually not go and squat but acquire a house lot through the right process. We in a bad place because we got a new housing scheme going up in Letem. We in a bad place because we using the energy mix in Letem and Bartica with the big solar farms that the government put in there. We in a bad place because we got 12 new hospitals being built across the country. We in a bad place because we got a new stadium at Palmyra. You understand? We're in a bad place. Remember when y'all used to cuss the stadium at Providence there? We're in a bad place because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have been able to secure 3 years of CPL finals. You understand? So that's the bad place we in, Mr. Singh. We're in a bad place with all these community roads that getting done. Um, um, oh Christ, who's this boy? I done with he.
Cordell,
Look,
Cordell,
I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm
Cordell,
done.
we have many things to do. This is why he confused, but it's good that he come and he learned
Anyway,
something this morning.
anyway, tomorrow is happening at Pineapple Street. We're going to be doing some community work at Mr. Evans Williams' house. This is a gentleman who rose the concern about his water with the vice president at the public meeting at Lane Avenue. That has been addressed, and councillors of the PVP councillors, along with several volunteers, along with Team Impact, along with King Kong Construction and Altium Engineering and contracting services, have come together to assist this elderly gentleman. He's in his final stages of his life. At least he could be a little comfortable. We're going to be doing some work there. This starts at 8:30 in the morning. We have almost everything. We just need some more gloves and things like that. So if you guys would like to make any donations towards the this event tomorrow, and we'll be streaming live from the event, so you guys can tune in for persons who are unable to join us. You can make contact with Kevon or myself, and we'll put you on to the liaison officer who will be dealing with collecting and getting the things we need to make sure everything is successful. I'd like to say a special thanks to Minister McCoy, Minister Prag, Minister Kroll, and Minister Anand Prasad for assisting with this event to make it happen. I'd like to also thank Big Smith News. I'd like to thank Mr. Michael Gordon, Mr. Dwayne Adams. I think some persons from Linden, Mr. Simon, and whoever, all the persons who would have contributed so far to make this event or towards the success of this event tomorrow. I'd like to thank you all in advance. And again, Pineapple Street, East Rumville, just next to Cowgirl Shop. You'll be there from 8:30 tomorrow. We will have before and after photos and everything for you guys to see the work that we're doing out there. Come out if you'd like to come out and support. And if not, while we live share the lives, so that the PNC people could see the work we're doing in the community that voted for them. They have not gone in there to do anything yet. Yesterday, I wanted to go live again at Hunter and Sussex Street, where the garbage I showed you, Mr. Ellis, worthless Ellis, worthless Travis Ellis, campaign banners over all the garbage there. If you all see how it increased, but I was busy doing work, so I didn't get a chance to stop and do that. Right? Worthless Travis Ellis, who can't do rally a group to clean up the area. You understand? Even somebody was saying to me that, oh, they can clean it and the people can dump there tomorrow. Travis ain't got brain. He can't put some system in place to make sure that don't happen. Now, let me suggest something to you, Travis, if you're looking at the program, or anybody looking at the program could share this with Travis. Now, okay, that corner nasty, right? You get a crew, you clean up that corner. They got a Chinese on Rob Street, Travis, and I'm giving you this information. I hope you take it and you action it, sir. I'm giving you a solution to the problem. There's a Chinese store on Rob Street. Just after China Trading on the left-hand side. They sell electronics. They got IP cameras there, right? Internet protocol cameras. Cameras you could put on Wi-Fi and anybody could view from anywhere. Travis. Worthless Travis. No idea having Travis. You can use those. Put them on the same people who vote for you in that area. You go around to them and you talk to them. Now others to put it on the building. Somebody must got Wi-Fi in the area. As a matter of fact, I think they got a camera that is there that belongs to the government that's probably give off free Wi-Fi. Hook it up to the Wi-Fi. Hook up the cameras. Comrade Travis. No idea having, no thought having can't come up with a plan, Travis, put some cameras there. You understand? So when the people dump in, you got video evidence, and you get the city constabulary to come and arrest them. I bet you the first 5-6 persons you take a good lockup in and throw them in front of the court for littering. I bet you the coroner left clean. Right, Travis? Right? I gave you a plan. I tell you how to action it. Work the cleanup, install the cameras, you understand? And endeavor to have persons arrested for dumping beer. I bet you it stopped, Travis. I bet you. Wait, is wash you getting your car wash?
Yes, sir.
Story is this Anyway, shout out to boy Safdar in the States there. I gotta get your video, Safdar. Cause like this man, you know you don't kick chicken, brother. You shh them, you gotta shh them. This guy kicking chickens in the States, well, foul cocks it should be. You should do that, brother. You don't do that. You gotta shh the foul cock. So big up Safdar. He's in the States there now, farming and cameraman.
The man never see such an aggressive animal. You know, attacking. He was attacked by this.
Anyway, I gotta get out of here. It was fun with y'all. Please remember the activity is happening tomorrow, Pineapple Street, the 30th. Team Impact will be there. Everybody's a come. Hey, this guy, I think people is struggling, you know. But he has a point. He has a point. When people stupid enough to put up them cameras there and still go dump there, you know. Although they put up the camera. Anyway, Kevon, take me out of here. Take me into the wrap up, my buddy. That's all for me, folks. Thank you guys for joining the program this week. And hopefully definitely we'll see you in the new week as we continue to bring you information on what's going on in and around Guyana and even in the States for cock attacks and basement dwellers and you know the lot of them bringing that information. Anyway, that's all for me. It was wonderful being here with you. Over to you, Kevon, for the wrap up.
All right, Courdel. So thank you again, and thanks to all our viewers here. And we must say this morning we give you a little extra time. It's Friday, and we want to thank you for your continued support. Please remember tomorrow, if you're anyway close by in Georgetown and you want to come and give us an hour or a couple minutes on the project at Pineapple Street there, it's in Lang Avenue. Just feel free to touch base with myself or Courdel if you have anything that you want to put towards the initiative tomorrow. We will welcome it as well, but we will not come here to ask, right? It's your choice. So thank you again in advance, and thank you for being on the program here today. And tomorrow, sorry I said tomorrow, but Courdel, we streaming live tomorrow, right? So they will have an idea. We're gonna stream the event. Bear in mind, this initiative is by Team Impact along with support from other entities and ministries who is on board. And this is just the beginning. We will be doing a lot more. We will move in around the country. Wherever people, people might reach out to us, we will be moving around the country to assist in whatever we can. So thank you once again, and see you guys on Monday. Thank you, and do have a blessed weekend. This is my time for today.
This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil to one Guyana. I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. Hey, hey, Guyana is nice, Guyana is fun, Guyana is clean, Guyana is green, Guyana got oil, Guyana got gold, Guyana got young and Guyana got old. I ain't talking no more. Guyana got things we growing.